Spiky from Latvia. We are here in Riga because last night was the Eurovision pre-party.
And now it's time to review all 9 acts who performed last night.
So let's do this!
Last night, on the 2nd of April, 9 acts jetted into Riga to perform at the Eurovision pre-party. We were there, we watched the whole show, we saw the live performances, and now it's time to review all the acts. We're going to base our reviews on the live performances, because some of you might have seen the streams, they were a bit dodgy audio-wise, so we're going to factor in the audience interaction and everything as a whole. So we're going to look at this with running order, and who was up first?
Well, we are in Latvia, so of course the first one was used. So, what did you think?
I was impressed. Well, it was obviously easier for Youssef. He was with his home crowd. The people automatically got behind him because the bulk of fans there were Latvian fans, so obviously they were cheering him on. But I was impressed. His vocals were every bit as good as we saw in Supernova.
Mm-hmm.
His stage performance, it was a very small stage, so we didn't really get an idea for staging, but he got into it. He was still wearing his lovely red jacket.
Yeah.
He pulled it open at a few points, got quite dramatic. Yeah, but he really killed it, I thought.
Yeah, oh, it was so good, and his voice, it's incredible. It's so strong and really raw, and yeah, he really can deliver. It was awesome, and he is so confident on stage. He was dancing around and doing stuff, and everyone loved him, and it's still a great song, and with a voice like that, live, it is even better. It is awesome. It was really good, yeah.
And just as a little bit of trivia, he proved that he was an all-round musician because he played 2 of his tracks from his back catalogue afterwards, and he was playing the keyboard, and he's a musician as well as a singer, so he's an all-round talented guy.
The second one to perform was Riga from Switzerland. And she was singing 2 songs. The first song was Movies, and that's her single. And the other one, of course, her Eurovision song, Last of Her Kinds.
Yeah, and I think you'll agree, we were both pleasantly surprised because Last of Her Kind, it's the kind of song that everybody was raving about it in the Swiss final and was saying it was so great. But ever since it won, it's kind of been forgotten about. It's low down in the betting odds. But she did very well with it. People are saying online that she might have lowered the key and stuff. We don't really pick up on that kind of stuff, sorry. No. But she really did impress us live. Near the end, there was a few notes right at the very end that she kind of struggled to reach, but apart from that, I thought it was much better than her Swiss performance.
Yeah, those notes, they weren't bad, but she was, well, at that part she was lowering it because, I don't know if she wasn't able to hit it or maybe she wanted to save her voice or something, but it was way better. All those higher notes, they were really good, and especially live. We were kind of surprised, and especially after the national final, everyone saying that they loved the song, but her voice was awful, and that she had to improve it, and she really did. I think she was having a lot of lessons, and it paid off, absolutely.
One person who definitely wasn't holding back her voice was Serbia's Sanja, who was on next. And wow, you've probably seen her interview, she has such a voice, even just when she's singing for us on camera during the interviews, but on stage she brings it to a whole other level, and she gets so into the performance, and she's shaking her head and she's shaking her body, and it's it really gives you a proper feel for the song, because up to now we've just seen her sing it live on the Serbian television with the playback, and she was pulling a lot of faces, so it was hard to focus on her, but I think she proved that she could be a contender last night.
I had goosebumps. I really had goosebumps. It was so good and such an incredible voice. For me, it was the best voice of the night. And she's only 22, right? She's really young, so I just can't believe how she's doing that. And the way she's standing and dancing on that stage, it's just incredible. She belongs there, and she's a real star, absolutely. She was also singing Crazy in Love from Beyonce. Oh, and she was moving, and all those dance moves, and like you said, the hair, and she's born to be on stage, absolutely. And the song is really good, and with a voice like that, I mean, Serbia's going for it.
And she can do anything, because there's such a difference between Crazy in Love and Goodbye Shelter, because Goodbye Shelter is really soulful and retro, and she was there doing Beyonce, like the hair was constantly in her face, and like she was doing all the moves, like she was fabulous. So from Beyonce to Rockstar, next up was Belarus and Ivan.
Yeah, well, at first, I have to say I absolutely hated the song. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like his voice, so I wasn't a fan. But now, it wasn't bad at all. I can say it was pretty good. Ivan is a really sweet guy, and he was singing good. His voice was really good, and at the end there was a raw, how do you call it? A raw rockstar.
Yeah, kind of a rough growl.
Yeah, a growl. Yeah, with the walls. That's good. Like that. And I think that's really who he is. And the song, I'm still not a big fan of the song, but the way he's singing it and performing it, it was way better than I expected it to be. So it was good, absolutely.
And Denise just forgot to add one thing, just to tell you, if you haven't seen the clip yet, he is fully clothed, so you can watch the clip with your mom in the room. But yeah, he impressed once again. His vocals, they're not your average Eurovision polished vocals, but they're really rocky, they're rough, they've got a rawness to them. And in Belarus, I was inclined to write him off saying that, he doesn't always sing that well. But you couldn't accuse him last night of not being able to sing. He did sing. It's just, the song, I don't think is the strongest. I think he could do much better if he had a better song.
Yeah, true, absolutely. And then it was time for Poli from Bulgaria. And she was also singing two songs. The first one was Na Inat. But we are basically talking about Eurovision songs from this year. But I want to say something about Na Inat, because I like the song, but after hearing it last night, I can't believe how she didn't qualify. It was so good. It was so powerful. Poli, she's a great singer, and she rocked the stage. So I still, it's a few years ago, but I can't believe why she didn't qualify.
Yeah, and Poli was kind of the first act of the night that had the crowd on their feet, and the atmosphere really built up at that point, and people were singing along. The Nine Out got the crowd going, because they were obviously familiar with it from before. But then when she got into If Love Was a Crime, she was really passionate, and people were saying stuff about her vocals. In the crowd, I didn't notice anything, and it wasn't until we came back here to the hotel and we looked at Twitter and people were complaining about it. Because live she owned it, and it's not really the kind of song that needs the powerhouse vocals. It's a pop song, and as a pop song, I think she did just fine.
Absolutely, and she was so enthusiastic. She was jumping around and then going to the left, going to the right. She was everywhere, and I really love that about her. And also, as a person herself, she was great before she went on stage, or it was after she went on stage, but on the stage she was talking about all the artists and all the people who were doing this party, organizing it, and they wanted us to give them a big applause. And it wasn't about her. She really wanted to compliment everyone, and that's saying that she's a great, I want to say girl, but she's a great woman and with a big heart, absolutely. And yeah, I love the song, and she really pulled it off, and she is really good, and I'm glad that Bulgaria is good. Now we are up to Estonia. Yuri was there. First, I have to say it's so weird. When you watch the performance of Yuri, it's like he is really, he's really into the performance. He's like really not angry, but focused, and he isn't smiling at all. So we were thinking, oh, he might be a little serious, and what is he like? But then talking with him, and you have to watch the interview and stuff, he was so bubbly. He is so great, and he was talking all the time, and it's so different from what we see on stage. But it shows us that he is a great performer. He's a great artist because, yeah, he can see the difference between performing on stage and being the person off stage.
But I think I agree with everything you said, and he sang so well last night. But I think the problem is that the song is a little difficult for people to connect with, because at that point, his song is a lot quieter. It's not a party song coming after Police. And a lot of the audience kind of stopped paying attention to it, which I felt was a bit unfair, but there's a lot of talking and background noise. And I worry that that might happen at Eurovision. But yeah, I can't criticise his vocals.
No, absolutely not. No, I agree with you that it might be a little too boring. Well, I wouldn't call it boring at all because I absolutely love it. But after Poli from Bulgaria, it might seem a little boring or a little slow. But now it was just him with a song, with his voice, and it was already great. And with a good performance, we've seen it in Estonia that he can have a great performance, and it was already really good. But maybe for some people, after a big pop song, it is a little,
A bit of a downer.
Yeah, but I liked it. I'm still a big fan of the song, and I'm also a big fan of Yuri because he is a great guy.
And from Play to Say Yay, Spain's Beret was the one that was up next. She really got the party started. Like, it was the Eurovision PreParty Riga, but the party well and truly began with Say Yay. And I say that, but it wasn't really until the chorus. Because Beret sang along, and she sang the opening verse, and that was fine, there was nothing wrong with how she sang it. But once she hit the Say Yay, 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 and the crowd got behind her, and she kind of fed off the energy, and she nearly grew as a performer, and the song just got better and better as it went along. So I think if she can manage to channel that energy into the whole song, that from the start she's this superstar performer, I think she could really shock at Eurovision. Because I know right now people are saying, it's Spain, it's hype, she's not that good. I don't agree with that.
I hope it won't happen because it is really good and it deserves to place really high this time. And yeah, she is so happy about being here, and she sang really well, and like I said, the crowd was going wild. They absolutely loved it and they were singing along. Everyone was saying yay, everyone did that. So it was really good. Those dancing moves in the beginning, I didn't like it. I don't think you liked it. But after the story behind it and after seeing it multiple times, it's growing on me, absolutely. And, well, maybe boring.
Well, I can't really criticise the dance moves because I have a new appreciation for them now because they're trickier than they look. Because I know I probably have very poor rhythm in the first place, but they're tricky, and I'm not as quick to judge them now that I've had a go at them myself. It's in the Beret interview if you haven't seen it already.
Oh, and you have to wait, you have to watch till the end of this video, because in the end he will do it again.
No promises. Bitches, Israel was up next. Yes! That is what Hovey Star is like. It's probably a very bad impersonation, but he is like that off stage. But on stage, he becomes a completely different person. And it's nearly, I don't know what you would say, but he becomes so serious, and it's just like an air kind of falls onto him, and he's like this grand singer, and he kind of captures your attention. And he's singing. I'm not a huge fan of Made of Stars, as anyone will know who saw our first interview, or not our first interview, our first review. But he obviously has improved in the revamp and stripped away of all the unnecessary stuff that was in the Israeli final. It really is a very simple, powerful song. It's not exactly my cup of tea, but I think I would blame Sam Smith for that rather than Hovey Star, because I do not like Sam Smith and I don't like his kind of music. So I think by association, I'm not exactly loving Made of Stars, but I can just appreciate it, and his vocals were just amazing.
They were really good. And I have to agree that it's so weird to see Hovey Star off and on stage. I mean, off stage he is so sassy, and yeah, everyone is a bitch, but in a funny way, in a good way. So I absolutely love him for that. But yeah, on stage he is really serious, and he's showing us what a great singer he is. And especially the second part with the we are, I'm not going to sing it, but the we are part, there is going up a little, and it was really good. And yeah, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of the first version either, but this version is so much better, and after seeing it live, it's growing on me even more. So it is really good. And now, I said in the first video, I said there wasn't a star, and well, now there's definitely a star. Hovey is a star, yeah.
And last but not least, we're going to probably the biggest star of the night, at least in terms of the Eurovision fandom.
Yeah.
Ira Lasko back at Eurovision for a second time. Did she wow you?
Ira always wows me. I don't know, everyone basically knows that I'm a big fan of Ira. I'm a big fan of her 2002 entry, and I don't think she can do anything wrong with me because I'm such a fan of her. But she was good. I was scared because the song, there are some notes in it, and it's like, oh, yeah, can she make those notes? I wasn't sure, but the parts that she sang were really, really good, absolutely. The only thing was, there was one big note, I call it the Molly note, yeah. With that high note, we don't know if she just can make it or she wants to save her voice, because looking at last year with El Haidadani, she didn't sing that high note all the time, and I thought, okay, she wants to save her voice, but on the stage itself, in Vienna, she didn't really hit it. It wasn't that good, so I'm a little afraid for that one. But if you don't know the studio version and you only heard the version of last night, it was really good. Now we know why she is a star. She was good, absolutely. Just change the clothes.
Of course, when it comes to Eurovision, the song and the vocals are an important part. But the singer has to be able to work the stage.
Yeah.
And Ira was able to work the stage, and she worked the crowd into a frenzy, because at that point, everyone was on their feet, everyone was cheering, and I'd say along with Spain and Bulgaria, she was the singer who really got the crowd going and dancing. And obviously they're upbeat songs, and it's probably easier to get excited about them than a ballad, but it still has something, and I think people were worried that WoW wouldn't connect.
Yeah.
And it does connect.
Absolutely. So now we reviewed all the songs, and now it's time to say which ones are our favorites. Who did we like?
Well, I'm gonna go first, and I would have to say, for an overall performance, incorporating the stage, the song, the vocals, how she got the crowd going, it's Spain's Beret. And Say Yay, it's such a party song, it's such a feel-good song. It was already my number one before I'd ever seen it live. And I think Beret, as a performer, she's just getting more and more experience, more and more confident. At the national final in Spain, she was an independent artist with very little experience. Now she's a singer who had 2 major record labels battling for her. So like, she's getting the experience. She's going around to all the preview parties. So by the time she gets to Eurovision, she's going to have this completely polished. And I think we should expect something amazing in Stockholm.
I agree with Spain. Beret was awesome, absolutely, and it's so fun, and yeah, I still love the song and she's great, so I agree with that. And the other one that I was really impressed with was Serbia. That girl, yeah, we said it, her voice is just so good. I think she is one of the best singers we've had in Eurovision, like, all time. She is awesome. And she is really good on stage. I love the song. I really love Goodbye. It's not a happy, upbeat, poppy song, but it is really good. So yeah, she is also one of my favorites. But I have to say, based on all 9 songs, there was no one who I didn't like. Yeah, at first I didn't really like Switzerland and Belarus, but now they were also really good. So all 9 of them, it was good that they came, because all of them were way better than expected and they were good.
And it's going to make our rankings very different when we come to finalising our top 43. So that's what we thought on all of last night's performances. I'm off now to teach Denise how to do the Say Yay dance, so while I'm at that, why don't you let us know what you thought in the comments below.
Make sure to subscribe, and afterwards, after you subscribed, come back and see if I already know how to dance Say Yay.
And give us a big like.
Yay!
Bye!
Bye!
Then you toes together. Then you're in against the wall. And then it's like, okay.
So that's not how you do it. Say yay,
Yay, yay.
yay.